Indian motorcycles ruined Harley. Not with one bike, not two, but five. Five bikes for 2026, each one louder, smarter, and cheaper than anything Harley's put out in years. Let's start with the Scout Rogue 60, because wow, this thing starts at just $11,499. A liquid-cooled V-twin cruiser that doesn't just undercut Harley's prices, it straight up humiliates them. Meanwhile, Harley's cheapest cruiser? You're staring down a price tag that creeps well past $18,000 after fees. And for what? Less power, worse tech, and the same old heritage vibe they've been recycling since your uncle grew his first goatee. And it's not like Indian dropped some weird electric moped with mood lights and called it revolutionary. These are real motorcycles. Steel, grit, performance, torque, and the internet? Losing its mind. Riders are calling it the boldest move in the last decade. This was Indian rolling up to Harley's front porch, flipping the welcome mat, and parking 5 gorgeous bikes right on the lawn. It's like if Tesla parked free Cybertrucks outside a Ford dealership. And they actually worked. Now let's dig into what these bikes actually are, because this is where it gets funny. The Scout Rogue 60 weighs 545 pounds wet, makes 78 horsepower and 65 pound-feet of torque from a 1,000cc liquid-cooled engine. That's punchy, nimble, and absolutely perfect for the city or open road. Now, let's look at Harley's beloved Iron 883. That one, 564 pounds wet, only 54 horsepower, and it still costs you more than $18,000 after fees. That's heavier, weaker, and somehow more expensive. So you're literally paying more to get less. And people wonder why riders are switching. But Indian didn't stop there. Nope. Next up is the Scout Bobber 20, and it keeps the flex going. This beast puts down 111 horsepower and 72 pound-feet of torque, all while weighing just 553 pounds wet. It's got that raw, stripped-back bobber aesthetic. Think metal over menus, torque over touchscreens, but still packs in the ABS, modern suspension, and actual rideability. It's like a time machine, but one that knows how to use a USB-C charger. Meanwhile, Harley's still busy selling you heritage, like it's a feature. No mention of upgrades, no mention of better value, just the same "we were first" speech, while Indians quietly walking away with the trophy, the crowd, and the whole damn stadium. And we haven't even gotten to the big boys yet. The Super Chief Limited. This one runs an 1,801 cubic centimeter Thunderstroke 116 engine, pushes out 120 horsepower and 120 pound-feet of torque, and comes in at $21,999. So, yeah, a premium price, but it actually earns it. You're getting power, style, comfort, and performance that blows past Harley's Road Kings, which are still pretending that chrome equals innovation. Now, let's talk about the part where Harley fans got exposed. Because Indian didn't just build better bikes, they ripped off the covers and showed just how behind Harley really is. Case in point, the Chief Bobber Dark Horse. Priced at $18,999, it puts out 120 horsepower and 120 pound-feet of torque, and it doesn't need any ride modes, screens, or futuristic nonsense to do it. Just twist the throttle and go. Meanwhile, Harley's still acting like that kind of performance should only exist in their top-tier touring models, if that. And don't even get me started on cooling systems. Indian's rolling out liquid-cooled engines across the Scout line, which means less overheating, better reliability, more consistent performance. Harley? Still trying to convince people that air-cooled V-twins are just classic charm. Yeah, until you're stuck in traffic in August and your legs are medium rare. Then there's tech. Indian's bikes come with ABS, LED lighting, traction control, and even lean-sensitive electronics on models like the Challenger Elite. Harley? You'll be lucky if that stuff shows up outside the CVO lineup. It's like Indian actually wants you to survive your ride. Oh, and the infotainment situation? Harley's boom. Box system is already the punchline to half the jokes in biker bars. Indian just casually drops the ride command system with a 7-inch touchscreen, navigation, Apple CarPlay, and fully customizable ride stats. And it's not some afterthought slapped on like a cheap tablet. It's glove-friendly, responsive, and, get this, it actually works. Imagine that. A screen that works. Fuel range? Indian's Challenger Elite gets up to 200 miles on a 6-gallon tank, clocking in around 35 miles per gallon. Harley's out here still playing roulette with fuel stops, pretending range anxiety builds character. Meanwhile, Indian's riders are already at the next diner ordering pie while Harley's filling up again. So when people say Indian humiliated Harley, it's not just about price. It's about how far Harley's fallen asleep at the wheel. Indian didn't just show up with some decent bikes. They showed up with better bikes across the board, at lower prices, with more features, better engineering, and less nonsense. And the riders noticed. Because when a brand starts delivering exactly what people have been asking for, and your brand keeps yelling, "but tradition," the market makes its own decision. Right now, Harley's not looking like the king. It's looking like the guy who showed up to the drag race with a tricycle and a story about the good old days. Harley riders aren't just switching to Indian. They're broadcasting it like they just walked out of a toxic relationship. Scroll through social media and you'll see it everywhere. Just sold my Harley for an Indian. Never looking back. That's not just one bitter biker, it's a chorus. There's a whole grassroots rebellion going on, and it's getting louder by the hour. Over on Reddit, bike forums, and every dusty Facebook group with the word cruiser in it, people aren't whispering anymore. They're yelling. The reasons for ditching Harley? Clear as day. Price, comfort, and features. One rider even said, "Harley lost me when I had to pay extra for ABS." I mean, seriously, paying more just to not die? Meanwhile, Indian's tossing in ABS, LED lights, and even traction control like party favors at a rally. And if you're still riding with us through this takedown, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. Because yeah, Harley's fall from grace is just getting started. The truth is, Indian's midweight cruisers, especially those under $13,000, hit the sweet spot younger riders actually want. Gen Z and millennials don't care about paying an extra $5,000 just to say they own a Harley. They want performance, value, and bikes that actually feel like they belong in this century. Indian nailed that, while Harley's still trying to sell attitude like it's some kind of upgrade. And the reviewers, the moto YouTubers, the bloggers who used to worship Harley's chrome and flames, they've flipped faster than a Sportster doing a U-turn on gravel. Now they're calling Indian bikes rider first, not brand first. That's a savage uppercut to Harley's chin because let's be honest, Harley's entire identity for the last decade has been one giant overpriced lifestyle ad. Even the old school crowd is waking up. Hog members, the diehards, are admitting it out loud. Indians fit and finish rivals Harleys. And in some cases, it's better, without the bloated price tag, without the annoying dealership markup, without being upsold $600 foot pegs like it's a timeshare presentation. Indian just gives you the bike. Simple as that. Now let's talk about the Milwaukee moment, or should we say, the symbolic punch to the face. Indian may not have rolled out a literal stage in Harley's backyard, but they didn't have to. Dropping this lineup while Harley was still busy polishing last year's catalog? That's bold. That's tactical. That's petty in the most delicious way. Reviewers were quick to catch the meaning. The Challenger Elite, Indian's answer to the Road Glide, is being called what the Road Glide should have been. Not could have been, should have been. That's brutal. It's faster, smoother, techier, and honestly, just better looking. All while Harley's still busy telling you how heritage is more important than horsepower. One journalist even said, and I quote, "It's like Pepsi launching in Atlanta, but the Pepsi has more caffeine, costs less, and comes with a speaker system that shames your bows." That's not a review. That's a public execution. And Harley? Harley said nothing. No witty response, no surprise launch, no damage control, just silence, while Indian collected praise, press, and most importantly, customers. The most savage part? Indian didn't just make new bikes, they made Harley's kind of bikes. And then they marketed them to Harley's most loyal crowd, the older, patriotic, I buy American kind of riders. And guess what? They won them over, with better bikes, more torque, real craftsmanship, no ego, no fluff, just results. That's not a product launch, that's a public shaming. And how did Harley let this happen? Easy. They got arrogant. They could have built something like the Rogue 60 years ago. They had the platform, they had the engineering, they had the riders begging for it. But instead, they chose branding. They chose to hike up prices. They chose to milk nostalgia instead of building the next thing worth being nostalgic about. Their cheapest new bike? Still pushing $18,000 after taxes and dealer fees for less power, fewer features, and design that hasn't been fresh since flip phones. That's not premium, that's delusional, and riders are sick of it. Younger riders? Gone. Harley never even tried to understand them. No liquid cooling, no lighter models, no modern tech that didn't feel like it was bolted on by accident. They refused to adapt, and now they're wondering where everybody went. Meanwhile, Indians quietly building bikes that Gen Z actually wants to ride, without pretending it's 1973. Hop on any motorcycle forum and you'll see the complaints piling up like warranty claims, dealer markups, rude salespeople, limited availability, terrible service, and don't even mention tech. Harley's electronics are the equivalent of a microwave clock, confusing, slow, and barely helpful. They've actually been called the Apple of motorcycles, without the innovation. Think about that. They're expensive, hyped up, and always one step behind. But no one's lining up anymore. And then Indian shows up and just does it right. No fanfare, no nonsense. They gave riders what they wanted, actual bikes, with actual value, built for riding, not flexing at the gas station. They didn't just drop a few cool features. They ripped Harley's entire sales pitch in half and said, "Here's how it should have been done." And the worst part? Harley let them. They didn't fight back. They didn't clap back. They didn't counter-launch, discount, or even pretend to care. They just sat there, watching their own fan base drift away, one social media post at a time. So yeah, Indian didn't just launch some bikes. They exposed the whole operation. They pulled back the curtain and showed that Harley, the so-called king of American motorcycles, is now a sluggish, overpriced, out-of-touch brand that's lost the plot. Harley's downfall is getting louder, so smash that subscribe button, stay tuned, and watch how deep this rabbit hole goes.